Guest 7 January 2024. The holiday starts! Yes! It's time to start spending their children's inheritance! The holiday. I was away for almost 2 months. You don't get to do that very often, now do you? But first, let's get into why. Why go on holiday in the first place? Because it's needed. It's just after Christmas. We've had children and grandchildren and partying and late nights, and it's been a pretty bad winter. So it's time to go away. And we needed a break. So, where did we go? And what did we do? That's what I'm going to talk about. 7th of January, friends of ours drove us to Heathrow, got on an airplane, Thai Airways, not Thai as in Turkish, but Thai as in Thailand. Flew London, Bangkok, Sydney. No, not Sydney, Singapore. Why Singapore? There's a reason. Our youngest son and his beautiful young wife just had got married in August, and they had called us up last year and said, we're away on our honeymoon because it was delayed, and we have a 3-bedroom apartment in Singapore vacant for 3 weeks. He hadn't even hung up his phone when I'd already booked the flight. Are you going to refuse an offer like that to use an apartment in Singapore? Met us at the airport. He took us to his apartment. He's an expat. His company and his wife pays for the apartment. 17th floor. Views all over the place. Of course, I'm an airplane man. You approach to Changi Airport. You can see airplanes coming in all day long. Not that I had any binoculars, but you look at the app. Oh, that's Singapore Heritage. An A380. That's fine. So they spent a couple days in Singapore, showing us around a bit. I'm familiar with Singapore anyway. They shoot off to Sri Lanka to start their honeymoon. And my wife and I are going, yes! The metro, just across the street. You get on it. Quick, easy, super fast. Thank God it's air conditioned, because the temperature's 30 to 32, 100% humidity. You don't have to go far to start melting. Really. But how many people have been to Singapore? Have you spent any time in Singapore?
No, because I misbooked what we were supposed to be doing. We got off the aeroplane from Stansted, I think it was, into Singapore. We walked down a long corridor and we got on another plane to Auckland, New Zealand.
Fine.
And please don't ever mention this to my wife when you next meet her, because I've never heard the end of it. So I never actually saw Singapore. I saw as we walked down the corridor, I saw the Apple shop. Loads of iPhones and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's on the harbour. I know where the Apple iShop. It's like in a dome. It's in the harbour area.
Yes. And that was it. Now you may say, why didn't I have the wits to book 2 or 3 days in Singapore? And I just don't know why I didn't.
You have to go back.
Yeah.
For those who've been, you have to go back. For those who haven't been, you need to go. You want a place that's clean, safe, efficient, vibrant, clean, very clean. Don't jaywalk. You could get caught out. But there's history. My wife and I went to the museums. There's the big fort where the British got their tails whacked big time in Singapore during the Second World War. And a bunker, that was interesting. There's other monuments around. Has everyone seen the brand new, the 3 towers with the huge gondola on the top?
Yeah.
Been up there, there's a big pool. I'll tell you what though, food in that place is pretty pricey. So take a pocket full of change and some extras, because it's expensive to live in Singapore. Singapore is very expensive. But if you eat locally, You can eat very well in the local shops just across the street from where we were at. I mean, it's all Asian dishes most of the time, or an imitation of Western food, still pretty good. But you can eat cheaply. But you can spend a lot of money if you want Western food. Very expensive. But there's loads of things to do in Singapore. Museums. Oh my word, you need to see the Orchid Museum. The Orchid Garden. They have done a fantastic job of doing the orchids and botanical gardens. Definitely worthwhile seeing. Very much so. Very impressive. There's all the cultural things you can do. Oh, there was a Malaysian market just down the road. I used to go down there and go shopping all the time. 10-minute walk, get out, stretch your legs. An epiphany of sounds and an attack of the smelling senses, because you can smell anything and everything. Some really nice and some a little on the dubious side, but it's worthwhile exploring. We were going to spend roughly 2 weeks in Singapore of the 3 weeks, and we were going to go up to Indonesia and down to some other places in Malaysia and so forth. After 2 weeks, after 7 days, we get a phone call from my son. He says, "Oh, hi, Dad. We've had a little bit of a problem." We're kind of going, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, and here's my wife," on this on WhatsApp. She's in a hospital bed in Sri Lanka with an appendix. So she's getting operated on in the next hour or so, so just to let you know. And we'll keep you informed. So instead of traveling outside of Singapore, visit other places, we decided to stick around because it was only a 4-hour flight to get to Sri Lanka, so we stayed in Singapore. We saw everything, we did everything. By the way, she came out of surgery fine. But she had to recover, she couldn't fly anywhere else, so she had to stay. And we didn't have to travel anywhere, but we didn't know because she had gangrene and all that kind of stuff, as you do. So she was out of it for a little while, but recovered, and they came in back into Singapore the day after we left, because we had planned to go from Singapore all the way down to Cape Town, which we did. Fantastic time. Cape Town, recommend it. Get yourself the app for load shedding, power outages, up to 3 times a day, up to 8 hours a day in Cape Town. The whole infrastructure is collapsing down there. Still a fantastic place. Ate well, drank well, and then we went on a cruise ship because I'm running out of time. Our cruise ship left Cape Town on the way through South Africa, Madagascar, heading towards Reunion. We diverted from Reunion. They wouldn't let us into Reunion. We were heading towards terminating in Mauritius. Not allowed to make landing in Mauritius because, and I'm over exceeding my time. You want me to continue? There was gastroenteritis on board ship. So there were about 200 people down. A couple of our friends who had flown down to Cape Town got on board ship with us. They went down with it. He went down to the medic center to get some stuff to stop it, and he was frog marched back to his stateroom, and his wife, "You are staying in your stateroom until further notice, and give us your keys."
Whoa.
Because you're now quarantined. But the reason that we couldn't make landing in Reunion was not only just because we had gastro, that wasn't the issue, it's because there was cholera outbreak in Mozambique. And what happened? What's the general thing that people do when there's a pandemic or something? They scatter all over the place. So you're going to take the disease with you. So Reunion said, "No way are you coming here because we don't know if you have cholera on board." So we diverted.